Over the past 48 hours, it's been a very rough ride for many altcoins. We've seen plenty of blood across the market, with double-digit pullbacks for even the top-tier cryptocurrencies. But one of my best performing assets, Cake, has now bucked the trend and is putting in double-digit gains. So let's take a look at the catalysts behind this price action. This is CryptoTube. Welcome to the channel. Make sure you subscribe if you are brand new here. We put out weekly videos, plenty of content for you to get your teeth sunk into, and we're heading for 15,000 subscribers. Hopefully going to hit this by the weekend, so make sure you hit that big red button and let me know down below if the pop filter we've just added improves the audio experience. A few ASMR fans have been commenting saying that the pop filter was required, so hopefully a better audio experience for you guys. So rather impressively, Cake now is up 17.9% in the last 24 hours, $14.28, a price we haven't seen for a few weeks now after a recent downturn in the price action. Sitting at rank number 50 and a market cap over $2 billion right now, things are looking pretty sweet. So if we just look over the past month, and we can see we've been through a period of chop. During this time, there's been a few issues. We had the website being hijacked, we've had a few FUD attempts, and some general maintenance issues with Pancakeswap, meaning that it hasn't had maximum uptime. So if you got involved and you were paying like $14 for this, and then you saw your Cake tokens reduced down to a price of $9.50 or something, that's kind of where we went to, you may have been thinking that things are looking downwards. However, Pancakeswap always has some tricks up its sleeves, and we really are seeing a network effect take place on Binance Smart Chain, but particularly with Pancakeswap. I know that many of you guys are now involved with yield farming and are generating some nice returns from the platform. So many ETH maximalists say that this is just a fad and people will return to Ethereum, but I think there's a lot more going on here, and I think it's starting to prove that now, as we haven't seen the price just continually tank and improvements are being made. So for those of you who are new to crypto, maybe you've been a little bit shaken over the recent volatility and all the issues that have been going on, this is actually par for the course. This is what you get for being involved in the most volatile and yet best performing asset class in the world. And if you just zoom out a bit, if we look at the 90-day chart here, you'll see that Pancakeswap has been on a meteoric rise. And so when you go through this kind of parabolic run-up, you're always going to see a pullback and you're always going to see some consolidation before we can make the next move higher. And maybe that is what is on the horizon next. But why the early surge here, and why is Pancakeswap outperforming most of the market right now? Well, there's been a change to the token economics. So for the second time in their short history, Cake holders now have the opportunity to vote on a new proposal for the emissions of the Cake token. And this is in an effort to make it become emissions neutral, not deflationary, but emissions neutral. But some of the things that are going to make it more deflationary, i.e. take away some of the block rewards out of the circulating supply, well, they've currently got lottery, they've got these profiles that you can set up, and they have the IFOs, the initial flip offerings, essentially an IDO. Plus on the horizon, they have prediction markets coming, buybacks, and burning of exchange fees. So there is a lot of good things coming. But over the last couple of days, we've seen this. So a vote was put forward, and from the current status quo, 40 Cake per block are minted. Only 25 actually hit the streets, because from this, 15 just go straight to a burn pool, and that's why you see a huge weekly burn from the Cake token advertised on their Twitter. Then the 25 Cake in block rewards, 10 goes to the Cake syrup pools, and 15 goes to the yield farms and the lotteries. So the three proposals put forward was, one, to have no change, so keep the current status quo, or a 10% reduction to the farms, with 13.5 Cake going to yield farms and the current 10 Cake going to the syrup pools, and then a 20% reduction to farms, with just 12 Cake going to the yield farms and then the 10 remaining going to the syrup pools for 22 Cake per block. So this would be the greatest level of reduction to the emissions overall. So what did people vote for? Well, in a bit of a landslide victory, the 20% reduction actually won out, 88.27% of all votes. 7.11 million Cake were voted on this proposal alone, which is a lot and shows that people were keen to bring the emissions down to hopefully boost the cake price, which is what we've seen over the past 24 hours. So maybe it's taken effect already, even though the block reward change has not actually taken place. That kicks in from this Monday, the 29th of March. The Pancakeswap team also teased this. Imagine if cake holders got to share the exchange fees. And we know that this is a plan of Uniswap to have a fee share model with the holders of Uni. So Cake clearly wants to get on board with this and be a direct competitor. And also imagine if some of the exchange fees were used to buy back and burn more Cake. So these are two very big ideas that would certainly put the Cake token on the radar of even more serious investors who up to this point may have thought that the meme-like nature of Pancakeswap and it being on Binance Smart Chain hasn't really appealed to them, but fundamental changes to the token economics. And if you've got an asset like Cake and it's actually going to generate you a solid revenue just from holding it through the rewards of the exchange fees, it does become a much more appealing asset to hold, especially when you consider the numbers that Pancakeswap is putting in right now in comparison to its arch nemesis Uniswap. We've also seen the likes of Zilliqa recently added to Pancakeswap, and there's a very nice APR currently for farming in this pool. And Zilliqa is now also on the Syrup pool as well, here with an 81% APR. So these top tier blockchains being added is a sign of an ever-evolving ecosystem. And also when you look at the number of Cake actually staked onto this pool. So this one's pretty much gone live over the last day or so, and there's already 160,000 Cake staking on this one. So that's pretty much what, like $2 million? And the number of Cake staking on the Cake pool itself, over 91 million. Current circulating supply of Cake is 142 million. So you can see a lot of individuals are choosing to stake their Cake for even more Cake. I think this is a sign of strength and people really giving the thumbs up to the Cake token. I think from Monday though, we're likely to see the APR drop, because if people aren't going to get such a high APR on the farms anymore, then they're likely to look to the Syrup pools, which have less downside risk with no impermanent loss. You simply just put your Cake tokens to work on here and get more Cake, nice and simple. So maybe this 91.8 million goes up to over 100 million from Monday, who knows? And that might actually cause the APR to drop. But there are other options on the table within the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem to generate even more yield from your Cake. So I'm just going to show you quickly two that I've personally used and members of my community have been using. So we know that they're not rug pulls, we know that they're good projects, but of course conduct your own risk assessment of these and practice risk management when entering into new farms. So the first one is called Autofarm. I'm sure a lot of you have actually heard of this one. It's had some coverage from some pretty big YouTube channels already, but you can stake your Cake on here for an even greater APR. You get a mixture of rewards in Cake and also the auto token. So then you can just sell your auto token for more Cake. The APR on that's around 218% right now, which is rather healthy. And I've got quite a few Cake on there currently. Then we have Beefy Finance. And this one similarly offers a very good rate of return on Cake tokens, 236% APY currently. So this is actually the highest return that you can get from a reputable source. There may be others with even higher rates, but I haven't used them personally. I can't vouch for them, whereas these two, Autofarm and Beefy, I've actually been using and I'm happy with the service. Of course, that doesn't mean that these are 100% safe. Smart contract risks do exist. Things can go wrong, so just be mindful of all that. So for many of you, it's probably just a lot safer to stay on here, but there are higher APRs available if you do look elsewhere. So back to this comparison with Uniswap. Does Pancakeswap from rank number 50 still have room to grow in comparison to Uni? In my mind, it still does. I really do think that they've developed that network effect that is needed. They're providing similar services to Uniswap, plus more features at a much lower cost. And even with Uniswap v3 coming on the 5th of May, maybe that will alleviate a lot of problems, make Uniswap more usable, and maybe some people will leave the Binance Smart Chain equivalent and move back to Uni. But I do think a lot of individuals will stay for the high APRs. If you can get 100% on your Cake for staking it, you're not going to get that kind of return on the Uni token. And just look at these figures. The volume over the last 24 hours on Pancakeswap, 1.64 billion. On Uni, it was 1.16 billion. And then the TVL, over 4.29 billion on Pancakeswap, 3.84 on Uniswap. And then finally, the comparison of the market caps. 1.69 billion. That's actually now up to 2 billion as of filming. So 2 billion for Pancakeswap right now and 14.4 for Uniswap. So still a 7 times differential between these two. So from an investment standpoint, for me, this is the more attractive one, and that's why I'm actually with Pancakeswap. We will continue to evaluate this over the months, and maybe with Uniswap V3 coming out in May, there may be a time where maybe that Pancakeswap gets up to an 8, 9, $10 billion market cap. And if Uniswap's in a similar position around 14 or 15 billion, it may be time to take some risk off the table and switch over to the more established and well-known Uniswap token. But we'll see. We'll continue to evaluate and check in with these investments over the course of the year. So have you guys had diamond hands with your cake tokens? Have you not been shaken out? And are you now continuing to see some gains with cake? Let me know how you're putting your cake to work and what farms you're getting involved with down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear more from you guys and see what avenues you're exploring. Now make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you want additional content, check out my Patreon link down below. We've got an exclusive video coming out this weekend looking at some of the altcoin picks that I'm currently eyeing up. So make sure you sign up for that, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.